Alright, back for another day working on Pro Gymnast. I am Walber. This is my gymnastics-based acrobatics game I'm working on. This is my task list. Let's pick up where we left off from yesterday. So yesterday I was working on this new prop, which is a motorized version of this grab wheel object. And let's look at it right here. Okay. And I've just got a few things to do to sort of finish up this prop. The main one is I need this belt to look like it's spinning and this pulley on the motor to rotate. And that's the most of it that's left to do. So let's look back at this object. I believe I have some kind of simple script on here. Yeah, gear rotation has an axis and it has a ratio. Okay, so I can use that. Let's get this motor wheel spinning. Okay, so this is the grab wheel powered. Here it is. Okay, so now this, the motor pulley mesh, we're going to add a gear rotation script to it. It's connected to this transform, and the road axis is the z-axis, and let's see, what's the approximate gear ratio here? Probably like 5 or 6. I'll try a 5 for now. Okay, and then we're going to have to make a script to offset the texture on this belt, and we're going to add a texture to it today as well. But first, let's see if that's spinning properly. And we still just have this object automatically in the scene here. That's fine. And let's just grab onto it. Okay, let's go in the wrong way. Let's try and tune this number here in play mode real quick. So we can go over to this guy and find that script. Let's try -5. Okay, that looks pretty close. Maybe it's spinning a little fast, but probably pretty close. Cool. Oh, hey, what's up, Dagio314? Are you programming in Unity? Yes, I am. This is Unity. Here you can see the scene view. It's really dark for dumb reasons. In the scene view here, there you can see it a little better. Basically using Unity's physics engine to create this game, and then most of the 3D work is done in Blender. There we go, which we may need to come back to today at some point. We'll see. To work on this belt, I may need to adjust the UVs. And speaking of UVs, so let's go back here. I found some textures that I think I can use for the belt. Let's go back and look at this as a prefab so we can see it a little better. Alright, so we're going to go here to materials, and I'm going to make a new one for grab wheel belt. Okay. And then we have some textures I just got. This. Alright, let's see. Can we look at that a little bigger? So this is like a, what's it called? A gas hose texture. And I think this might be kind of interesting. Let's get all the maps on. And I think we have an occlusion. No, what is this? Roughness. Where would that be? this again. So we have the albedo, we have the metallic, we have the normal, and we have the roughness. Alright, and then, yeah, sometimes these PBR material settings are still a little confusing for me. Belt, okay. Because here, well, we have two options. We could switch this thing to shader standard specular setup, and then you get a specular option, but I don't think that's what the roughness is. Let's see. How does that look? Let's also double check our normal map is actually set up as a normal map. Okay, it is. That's good. Okay. I mean, that might be alright. Let's go back to the standard one. Gas hose metallic. Okay. And here we can see we have a different sort of amount of metal on that label versus on the threading. We might be able to just try putting this as a detail mask. No, I think I want this to be a little darker. Okay, let's see how that looks on the belt. Okay, so that looks pretty terrible. And that is a UV situation. I actually think I want the, I kind of want it like this, where the little like label is going around the belt like that, so you'll see that thing like whipping around. So that's cool, but we need to have a look at these UVs. Okay. Now I think this texture is actually, oh no, I want it this way. I was just saying that. But this needs to be like spread out way more around the, that's gonna be a problem. Okay, let's try rotating it the way this thing likes. Like this. Okay, now we have good tiling, but of course we have that label just like right down the center, which is a little weird. We could cheat and just push that thing off the edge, almost off the edge there. And we could put it right on the, let's see, I can open up that texture over here by going to here, here, and finding it. It's the gas hose, albedo, okay. Like this. Is that cool? I don't know. Maybe we could flip it. Or just go like that and not have any label at all. Just have the material on there. And I bet we could actually make that bigger compared to the object, because yeah, there we go. It's just like a cool belt on there that's gonna rotate. Okay. How dark can I make this before I lose any? No, that's a little better. Yeah, cool. Okay, I'm liking that. I wonder if I want to give this just a little on the front here. I could give it a slight bevel. Oh, that's the back. I have that thing backwards. Really? Oops. Go back here. Oh, that's really hard to see. Why is that so hard to see? Okay. Yeah, that's definitely backwards. Interesting. That's this one. I mean, if I want that to be the other way, I gotta flip it like this. That much. And then I gotta rotate it 90, but that doesn't look right. Yeah, why is that? Oh yeah, look, even the, this guy is supposed to be like this. And this one's wrong. Which means this... No, this is right, because I already rotated it. Right, so if I flip this like this... I don't think that's going to line up. Feels a little weird to rotate it at a strange angle like that. Alright. Okay, so now we need a script. Let's see, let's go find our gear rotation script, wherever I put that. Scripts, utils. Okay, so this is where I also want to add a new script called belt UVs. Okay. Alright, now let's look at our gear rotations. Not that. Gear rotation script. It's going to be fairly similar to this. We're going to have a connected transform. We're going to have a gear ratio. What we're going to have instead is we want to know an axis direction, I think. We want most of the same stuff over here. But we don't, we want like a, well, it's basically one number, that makes sense. Local dir, last, so this. Alright, what are we doing here? So, we go to the thing we're connected to. We make a line between it and us. And we get that in the local space of that connected object. And then we transform that back into world space for last dir. Okay, I see. So then every frame, we can just retransform out our local dir to get the current one, and then we do the cross product and see how much that we dot that with our rotation axis. right, to see how much we've rotated. Okay. Now this one might be a little simpler because we're basically saying, hey, there's some, we're actually going to call this reference transform. So there's some reference transform. It's going to spin around a rotation axis, right? Which is this axis. And then we're going to give ourselves a vector 2, which is our scroll ratio, which is going to default to scrolling upwards. Okay, so we want to watch this reference transform and see how much it rotates around a given axis. So we're going to have, yeah, okay, cool. So we're going to do something similar to this. Let's see. We'll keep this simple. We'll do okay. So we're not going to need local dir. We're just going to specify that ourselves. So then what we do is last dir is equal to the reference transform dot transform direction of the watch axis. Actually, we don't even need the road axis, do we? No, this is a simple case. Okay, so now we can just do vector 3 cur equals reference transform dot transform direction watch axis. Okay, then we compare this to last dir. Oh, I guess we do want a, let's keep our rotation axis, because what we can do now is that we have the, here's where it is now, here's where it was last frame, and we want to know the angle between that. We're going to get the cross between cur dir and m last dir. Okay, only at the bottom of this function I gotta remember to set m last dir equals the current dir, so we remember it. Okay. Now the vector that's the return from this cross product should be pointing in the same direction as root axis. So this will give us the direction of rotation, right? So the sine is going to be math dot sine of the dot between C and the reference transform direction of its root axis. Oops. Okay. Now the cross product, when I think it is just like giving us the sine, so we can now do angle change is math a sine of C dot magnitude times S. Okay, and then we want to do our scroll move is equal to scroll ratio times angle change. Okay, now we need to hook up the part where we actually offset something. So now we can go public renderer target renderer, right? And we want private vector 2 scroll offset. Okay, so now we should be able to do scroll offset plus equals scroll move, and then target render dot material dot main texture offset equals m scroll offset. Okay, something is probably wrong with that code. Let's find out. So we go to our belt here. Okay. Belt UV script. Okay, this guy's reference is going to be the motor pulley, right? And on the motor pulley, it's going to watch its positive x axis. That's what we want. And it's going to be rotating around its z, that's correct. And it's probably needs to be a small number. And the renderer is itself. Okay. Let's see what we get. Okay, UVs are scrolling. Let's go look at them closer here. Okay, so let's grab this and have a look at what we're doing here. So I set this to 0. They don't move anymore. Okay. Let's get somewhere. Oh, I forgot to save my change here that this needs to be a -5. Okay, it's something. Now let's make this rotate really slow. Like that. Okay. So our scroll ratio is the wrong way. That looks pretty close. How does it look over here? Well, it's a little easier to see if it's slipping over here, isn't it? That's quite close. It's like a little slow. Just the tiniest bit slow. Oh, that's nice. There we go. Cool, what is this? -0.06. And down here, pretty close. If anything, maybe this pulley is rotating too much. Let's underdo it. Okay, there it's under. Looks like -2-ish. Maybe even that's a little fast. Okay, let's try that. -1.5 and -0.06. So let's go back into our prefab here. Okay, we're gonna set this to -1.5. And this to -0.06. Okay. Now, just to kind of double check this, let's leave our camera view right there and put it back to the default speed. Alright. That looks pretty nice. Cool. I guess let's just double check here. If I set this thing to go the opposite direction and fast. Seems to work. Coming off his first swing is kind of tricky to catch back on. Nope. Too far. All right. Cool. Okay, so now what is missing with this prop is a thumbnail. So we already have this white thing that's kind of annoying right here. Is the piece that gets used to render the thumbnails. Like the little preview of a level when you save a level. So we just need to add to this our new little like parts. So we'll go back to Blender. These models can be super simple. Let's see. We're just going to make an additional one essentially. So what I can do is I can go into this. I'm going to grab the front faces of that, copy those, copy those, separate them. Okay, so now I just have that, right? Yeah, okay. So that plus this. Separate those out. Same thing here. I'm gonna let's grab just this much. Okay, so now we should be able to get these, this guy. Let's see. We're gonna hide this, hide this, hide this. Grab this, this, and this, join. And then we're going to simplify this. So we can just, actually I could have done that before, but oh well. Grab this, delete the faces. And grab this ring, scale it to 0. And we're going to want just sort of put them together-ish. Okay, now this, what are we going to do here? Let's just clean this up slightly. Like this. Okay, grab all those. Okay. Alright, so this can be, not the mesh, I want to name the object. Grab wheel, pulley, thumbnail. Okay. So now if we go back here, we got a thumbnail here. Actually, I don't really need this to be a child of all this stuff. Let's make a new empty called thumbnail. Bring this down onto there, copy it, switch over to, what was it called? Pulley. There it is. Okay. This was negative, oops, -1, -1.1, and Alright. This all needs to be on the thumbnail layer. There. Yes. Okay. And now we could even just kind of like, so it's not as distracting the scene. We can pull it back a little bit. Like that. Okay. Now, we can get rid of this being just put in the scene ahead of time. And we can go to this new prop, which is right here. Make sure it's in the asset bundle. It is. Let's see, grab wheel, medium, small, and then powered. We want this to be sorted slightly later. Okay. So now we can go here and go assets, build asset bundles. So this is going to rebuild the asset bundles in the game, of which there's one, which is all the props in the game. And now this new prefab will be updated in there. And should be the case after this is done building. Come on. Due to the way I'm capturing my screen, you can't see the progress bar, but it just finished. Okay. So now, if I go into my list here of objects to add into the scene, we've got a copy of this right here, and there's our powered object. And now I need to capture its thumbnail a little better, so I'm going to go like this. This is just going to be thumbnail test scene, just so that I can save it and get that thumbnail to pop up. Because now I can hop back over to Photoshop and I can go find that file, which is going to be here, here, this. Okay. And then I'm going to select just the prop here. Like that. Crop that. Let's see, how big is this? It's fine. And we'll save this into our textures folder. Not there. Textures, thumbnails. Okay, and this is grab wheel powered. Okay, so now that we've done that, we can come back here, go to our prefab. And where's the bar spinners? Ah, okay. I'm just fixing the order that these show up in the menu right now. Okay, and then we can give this its new thumbnail. It shows it's powered. Assets, build asset bundles. Okay, that should be pretty much everything we needed to do for the powered grab wheel. Where was that? There. Okay. What should I do now? Alright, we have a couple sort of like UI flow changes after watching people play the demo recently. And also just thinking about it and playing through lately. I've got a few pretty simple changes. One is Okay, well, let's double check this looks right before I move on. Okay, so I can go in here now. We can go there. Okay, it doesn't have a name yet, but I'll fix that later by just updating the localization doc. And they're in the order-ish that I want. This is a little weird. I probably don't want it to go... I should have it go like small, medium, powered, small, medium, powered, right? Let's fix that real quick. Let's make it explicit. So we're going to say grab wheel small. Its order is 0. Medium is 1. Powered is 2. Then bar spinner small is 5, that's fine. Then medium is 6. And powered is 7. Okay, before I forget, let's build those bundles again. Alright, so what we're going to do now is something quite simple, but that's been missing for a while, which is kind of a confusing flow when you start the game. There's a couple things that are... Actually... Yeah. I have a couple things that are confusing when you play the game for the first time. Let's go look at that. So if I go here to scenes, menus, and let's run the game. So you boot up the game for the first time, you get to the main menu, that part's fine. Obviously this yellow stuff here about the game being in beta and stuff will go away once I'm actually releasing the game. Now this send feedback button is no longer needed. Let's get rid of it. That's going to be over here in buttons, send feedback. Goodbye. And we still have, yeah, let's go get rid of that reference from the code as well. So this goes away, which may cause a compiler complaint there. And can get rid of this function as well. Okay. We'll clean these up as we go. Alright, so anyway, you come in to the game, you see the main menu. Okay. You hit play. Now, let's go like this. Let's delete these profiles, right? So right now there's no save data in the game. And right now, when you come in, brand new, first-time player, you hit play. You're taken to this kind of somewhat confusing screen, which is like athlete registration form, pre-registered athletes, and that's empty. And then down the bottom, it says create new profile with like a backwards arrow. That arrow would make a little more sense once you've seen that when you select this object item, it takes you physically to the left in the scene. And then you create a profile, then it takes you back to this screen and your profile exists, and then you can select your profile and make it over to the map. And I think that sequence is confusing. So I think what I'd rather have happen is when you're in this state where there's no save data and you hit play, I would just take you directly to here. And you design your character, and then once you're done designing your character, I would take you directly to here. And then I'll let you discover, like, so now let's say you did that, you played the game a little, you quit, you came back. Now the flow would be like it is right now, where you hit play and it's like, oh, what player do you want to play as? Oh, cool, okay, I'm going to play as that one I made. I can see now that I can make changes or delete. So I'm going to play as that player, it takes me directly to here. This is what I would expect. And if I want to make a new one now, right, I've got the opportunity to do so here. So let's work through in introducing that flow. So the title menu here, when you press play, right now what we're doing is we are just going to the profile select no matter what. So obviously we need an option here where we realize if there's like no profiles in the game, that we're going to make a new one. Now let's look at the profile select screen. Because this one should show us. Okay, so if you press new, we reset you to the female avatar, and then we go to the profile create screen. Now if you press to edit, which is going to be it's going to be up here somewhere. Yep, right here. It's called rename because this was, it used to think that all you were going to do was click to rename, but now you can use this flow to edit your avatar. So here, what's different is that we grab the player, we load their avatar, don't have to worry about that right now, and then we pass through some information into the profile creation screen, which is that we're in renaming mode, and you do have the option to cancel out, where when you're making a new avatar you can't cancel, you just have to say, okay, I'm done making my avatar, I'm going to save it. Okay, so we want something like this, right? So from the title menu, when you hit play, is this, are there any save profiles? If no, go directly to the profile creation screen, and that's going to look something like this. So right now let's just do a thing that says bool new player. We're going to set it to true right now and then say if new player. We're going to do this flow, otherwise we're going to do this flow. Okay, now we don't want to show the cancel option. Yeah, I think. What happens when you just say make me a new one? Because that's actually what we want. Okay, we're going to need, actually, it's closer to this, I think. We may not need the payload there. Right, and we need to be able to load the avatar from this screen too. It's kind of gross, but hey, just kind of duplicating some references and code over. Don't love it, but this is kind of what happens as you get towards the end of the game and you're realizing you got a few little changes you need to include. Okay, so now the title menu, when you hit play, we're going to, for now, just believe you're a new player to test this flow. We're going to load a default avatar and take you to the profile create screen. With no payload. Okay. Alright. So now if I look over here at profile select, it has a reference to this avatar. So we have to give that to the title screen as well, which is going to be, we got a compiler complaint. What's this? Ah, we need a using thing here. Okay. So now the title screen, we should see an empty reference pop up here. There it is. We're gonna give it a reference to the avatar. Okay, so now start the game, you hit play. We're just making an avatar, and let's test if it works. First play. Okay, come down here, create profile. Ah, no. Yeah. And if I do this again, it's just going to take us in again. We're going to make another one because it's hard-coded to do so right now. But if I go into one of these, can we actually change it? Let's save that. Okay, so this one is still preset 1. and this one preset 2, and this one we just made preset 1. Okay. All right. So now what we want to do is properly detect this case. Now, player save. Does this already have some kind of helper for us? Let's see. Serialize, blah blah blah. Get save file list. Hey, look at this. Okay, so this should be pretty simple now. What we can do is when you hit play, we can do save list equals player save dot current dot get. Oh, maybe it's just player save. Yeah, get save file list. This is a static function. Okay. And then we can just say bool new player equals save list. Let's go look at this function real quick. Oh, we'll just write this the safe way. So either save list equals null, or save list dot length. Right, length. Equals 0. Let's just look and see. Does this thing actually return null? I don't think so, because I think system.io.directory.get files is going to at least give you an empty array if it didn't find anything. But we're being extra safe here. When you do these like compound checks, the first one, if it evaluates to false, because this is an OR, it's just gonna, it won't even evaluate the second one. So you can, if you write them in the order where you do the null check first and then the junk with the reference after, that's the safe way to do it. Okay. So now this should only happen when there's no save files. Yeah. And we're gonna eventually want, well, let's test this. Okay, so right now there's no save files. You hit play, we're making a new character. We just made one, come back here, we hit play, we come here, and that character is selected. That's what we want. Alright, so now here's the next one, which is the create new profile. In both cases, either from here or from the main menu. Once you come in here and you make a new player and you create them, I want to take you directly to here. I think we want that in all cases when it's creating a new profile. So that should be pretty simple, because we can go to new profile screen, right? And look for where we talk to the menu manager. Okay. So cancel should take you back. That's correct. When you press OK, though, right here, if we are editing a profile, go back to the profile select. Which is, we have this in im is rename. There's a boolean in this guy, which is the case where you're editing. And then we say otherwise, this is a new profile, go to the map, right? And let's look at the flow for that, because that will be in profile select, where we, when you select an avatar, what do we actually do here? We load them. In this case, we're okay, we don't need to do that because we already loaded it to get into the player select screen. And then I guess we just show level set select. So we can go here and do that instead. Okay. Is this going to be that simple? Let's see. Alright. Okay, we have no saves right now, so we hit play, we get... Oh, I do have saves. Get rid of the saves. Okay. We hit play, we're making a new character. This is going to be called first. Okay. Come down here, we hit create, we should go to the map. We're in the map. Dear player. Didn't I just name this character? Oh, look at that. We got one called player and one called first. Okay. So why is that? It should be right here. That we are saving that new player. But we're probably not loading them. Because here we need to do this. We need to set this as the current save. Okay. So when you make a new profile, right here, load up this as the current player data. And or actually, we can do this right here. Okay. All right. Right, so you come in here, you've made a new profile, you hit OK, assuming we have a name, which we probably, down here, there should be like an error or something that shows up, but there isn't yet. And if it's not renaming, so it's a new one, we actually create a new player save, we set the data on it, and then we find a new file name for that, and we save it. And now we're making sure that it's actually loaded as the current save, because we're not going to go back to the screen and reselect it to load it. We're just going to go directly to the map. Okay. Yeah, because this screen, when you select the profile, actually loads it and sets it right there. Okay, I believe that's the fix we needed. Okay. And that's why we had two saves all of a sudden there, which was weird. So let's get rid of these. Okay. I'm a new player. Let's pro Gymnast game. Let's play it. Oh, cool. I'm going to name myself something easy to see. First. Okay. Go down here, hit create profile. We come to the map, and it says, Dear First. Blah, blah, blah. This looks like the right save. Now if I go back, there's only one player called First, and we go back. We want to play this video game again. We come in, we have one thing called First, we can load that up. And we can still go here to make changes, and for example, change our name. And we can save that. And we come back here. That's what we wanted to do, because when in the edit flow, we're not assuming you want to play, you just want to like mess around with your avatar or whatever. And then you would go here to play. Okay. And that's all looking pretty good. Cool. Alright, let's try to get in one last quick thing. Do we have a confirmation UI on this, or is it only in the game scene? I feel like we have one in the game scene. Let's go look. Yeah, so in the game scene we have this thing, which is a confirmation pop-up. And I'm realizing I'm going to want one of these. Yeah, I'm going to want one of these in the other scene. Should I try to make this into a prefab? Why not, right? Confirmation pop-up. There, it's a prefab now. Save. Now let's go to the other scene. This really should be something I'm like instantiating instead of just having exist in the scene, but meh. Okay, so now we can go here, prefabs UI, confirmation pop-up. We're gonna add one of those right here. Okay, that exists now. It's a little pop-up that probably needs a way to dim the screen behind it, but we'll get there. Okay, now let's go find examples of this. So like in the editor, okay, here's how you use it. Because what I wanted to do is here in profile select, when you click to delete a profile, I want you to be able to confirm that, because that's kind of hardcore if you just accidentally click that and delete all your save. Right? So we'll do this. We'll give ourselves a reference to the confirmation pop-up menu. And then down here, when you say delete, let's confirm this action. Okay. What do I call it? Let's just call it confirmation ref. Okay. So then here we do, we're going to do profile confirmation delete. And cancel is cancel and OK is OK. Well, actually, let's make this, give these their own keys. Profile confirmation delete cancel. Profile confirmation delete OK. And then this is going to be delete confirmation. We need to know which file we are pending here, because now this code needs to happen. Okay, we'll do this the cheesy way. Let's look at this confirmation pop-up. What we could do is let's add a little let's see, public static string s payload user object. Okay. And then we're going to have a private object user object, which is null by default. And then we can go here and say if the payload is not null, if payload contains key s payload user object, then user object equals payload s payload user object. So we're storing that. And then what we can do is we can change our confirmation to be take a bool and then also pass you one object. Keep it simple. And then down here, we got to pass back through user object. Okay, which means we're going to break the code here. New confirmation OK. Needs a new user object that we can just ignore in this case. But over here, right here, when we show this, we can actually make a dictionary of strings and objects called payload, new that, and then payload confirmation pop-up dot s user object equals the file we want to delete, which is this. Okay, so we're going to pass that along into the confirmation confirmer. So now we can go down here, we can add a private void delete confirmation bool is okay, and then it gets an object called user object. Okay, if is okay, string file equals user object as string, and then we actually do the deleting. We refresh the menu. Okay. Not fully compiling. What's the problem? Okay, so this one also needs it. Right here. Okay. Who else? Who else is using this thing? Somebody else is. Delete confirmation right there. Okay. Okay, and then I can't call an object payload here because I'm in a show method that already has one. So this is going to be the confirm payload. Oh, and I wasn't even passing it along. That was a close one. Okay. Okay, compiled. So now the profile select screen can get a reference to the confirmation pop-up like that. Confirmation pop-up can start disabled like that. Okay. Let's see, something's probably broken with this. So we hit play, we have a new one. We want to delete it. Okay. Delete pops up. All we can do is select between these two, which don't have text yet. This would be cancel. Okay, not bad. Our selection went missing. Fix that. There, and then yes. Now it's deleted and the correct and the cursor went back to the right spot. Okay, let's make another one. Let's make another one. Okay, and we want to delete the weird one with the JKH's in it. Delete. Okay, cool. That's a little weird. I want this. Why is it selecting back as the default now? I want it to select this. It's a little funky. I'll have to work that out. If you cancel it, it's okay, but we lose then any kind of selection. Which might be as simple as doing that. I wonder why we're not getting the proper default selection though. Okay. Yeah, it's not. Ooh. What? What? How did I get in this state? Uh-oh. That was weird. Alright, we hit play. Oh, there, it was okay now. Keep it. Oh, look at that. Okay. So, alright. Making this game work with both the mouse and the gamepad has been quite frustrating. Title screen. You, sir, are now going to get a click blocking element. Alright, so this is like right. We're filling the whole screen with this thing, which is not actually going to be an image though, it's going to be an empty rect, but that's a raycast target. So this is mouse blocker. Okay. Alright, so now if I hover over here, I can't get things to show up. Let's just double check that. So we come in here, we go out. Now there's like a thing that's worth hovering over. Nope, not working. I click over here, nothing happens. Good. Okay. Come in here. Now, wait, let's make another one. Okay. Okay, and now we come in, let's delete one. And first of all, let's cancel it. We get back our selection, that's good. And now let's delete one and say yes. And we got our selection back. Okay, cool. Alright. So that was some nice little UI flow fixes. And a pretty good stopping point for today. So let's see. Tomorrow I think we're going to finally tackle a replay flow bug that I've had for a long time. It's probably going to take most of the day tomorrow, or most of my hour tomorrow. So that should be fun. That's going to be debugging. And then after that, oh, we did this. And after that, level location override. And then, yeah, then maybe start making some more levels. Alright, thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back tomorrow.